Fan voting for the All-Star Game does not work because we're missing the best shortstop in the National League on the finalist ballot. This is the Locked On MLB Squad Show.
Step up to the plate. It's the Locked On MLB Squad Show, sponsored by Gametime. From the Dodgers to the Astros, the Mets to the Rangers, and everyone else in the league, with the experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you the most comprehensive breakdown of all the action around the horn. We're coming in spikes up, no hurt feelings allowed. So squad up.
Welcome into the latest edition of the Locked On MLB Squad Show. So happy that you're alongside us here today as we're going to talk about the big stories going on in Major League Baseball with the hosts from the Locked On MLB channel. My name is Jeff Carr. I am the Locked On MLB channel manager and one half of Locked On Reds. Alongside me here today is Booney from Locked On A's. We got Sam Olber, one half of Locked On Cubs, Justin Latta, one half of Locked On Guardians, and the man himself, Sully, from Locked On MLB. And we are going to be talking about, we're past the halfway point in the season, so we can officially declare who's going to win the World Series, the American League Championship, the National League Championship. We know who it's going to be. We'll tell you later on in the show. But I want to start today's show off by looking at these all-star finalists that the fans have given to us on this Locked On MLB Squad Show that is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB to save $20 off your first purchase. All right, gents, I'm going to tell you what. I am mad about all-star voting because the best shortstop in the National League is not a finalist. Now, I get it. I understand. Dave Roberts is going to put him on the bench. But the fact that Elly De La Cruz has to make it in as an alternate just shows the fallacy that is fan voting for the All-Star Game. I get it. Big markets are going to dominate that. That's not right. Elly De La Cruz is better than Mookie Betts. Elly De La Cruz is better than Francisco Lindor, and he should be starting the All-Star Game. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, where's Trey Turner? You want the best shortstop to start the NL All-Star Game? It's Trey Turner. It's not Elly De La Cruz. Trey Turner also not on the finalist ballot. He needs to be the first alternate. So, yeah, you're right. The best shortstop in the NL is not currently there. It is Trey Turner.
Also a good argument against the big market thing. I mean, it's not like he plays for a small market team there in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes the who starts is a little overrated because like all the starters are in their street clothes by the fourth inning. Right. I have a rule. I have a couple rules that I would change to the All-Star Game, but certainly one of them is you need to have two members of your starting nine playing nine. You know, the fact that Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. We're going to take small market teams. We'll take Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, and if we're going into extra innings, the idea of one of them being a hero in the All-Star Game is not going to happen. There's going to be someone like the White Sox token all-star is going to be the player who is coming up with the game on the line if it goes into extra innings. And, and I remember the all-star game where there was called a tie. And at the end, I think it was, I forgot who it was. It was like a pitcher for the Brewers who I couldn't name if you put $40,000 in front of me right now, facing off the late Benito Santiago. He hasn't died, but I thought he was dead at that point in his career. And they're facing off because both teams lost all their pitchers because Barry Zito threw two pitches and was relieved because he threw more pitches warming up than he did pitching. Like, oh no, we got to make sure everyone gets to play. And then next thing you know, they ran out of players. It's the All-Star Game, and we want to see. I mean, I'm not trying to be in my day, but in my day, I remember there was an extra inning All-Star Game in Oakland, and when it went to extra innings, freaking Tim Raines and Jay Winfield were still on the field.
Well, I remember I just watched like some sort of Ted Williams doc recently where like one of the highlights of his career was a walk-off in the All-Star Game. I think it might have been the same year he hit 400.
It was.
Yeah, and so it's like you look into it and you're just like I agree. Like I don't think the starters matter that much because they're not really deciding the game. And, I would be all team Jeff if this was going to be how it was going to be. But now Ellie De La Cruz might make the difference in the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus, back then, like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, or however it was, it's like, hey, these guys are going to play all 9. It actually matters to them. Like I was really surprised when I was watching that documentary. It was like one of the 5 best moments of his career was hitting a walk-off homer in the All-Star game, and it's Ted Williams.
Well, the National League and the American League were separate leagues then. They were separate entities,
Right.
and there was a rivalry.
Major League Baseball refuses to use any type of imagination at times. So you're talking about that All-Star game that ended up in a tie in Milwaukee. As I'm sitting on the couch watching that game, the simple solution was just a home run derby. You pick up one guy, you pick another guy, go for 2 minutes, whoever has the best, go for it. And for some reason, that's not implemented today. That way you have it, you're going 9. You have a plan on when your pitchers are going to go, and you call it a day. They refuse to have think anything outside the box.
Yeah.
Okay,
by the way, one more thing I want to throw in is if in these finalists, the finalist gets to start and the runner-up gets to finish.
I think the top vote getter from each side should play either all 9 innings or they should be the golden batter rule, where whenever the top vote getter, so whenever Aaron Judge gets removed, they get to come back in and play the end of the game. I would do that. And
I still want it to be a baseball game. Yeah.
I just, okay, hear me out. I know the NBA is sacrilege, whatever. The NBA, I know they got away from it this last season. I liked the All-Star draft. I want to see Ohtani and Aaron Judge draft teams. I want to see if Aaron Judge will draft Juan Soto to be on his All-Star team. Forget AL and NL. Interleague play ended forever ago. It's no longer a novelty. It happens every day now. I want the All-Star draft. I want to see Ohtani and Mike Trout play together again. I want to see Judge and Soto together again. I want to see teammates facing each other with the game on the line.
I would see that, absolutely.
Here's where I would disagree. The playoffs are still formatted like AL, NL. So,
the playoffs.
But at the same time, that's who's getting.
It doesn't mean anything, Booney. It doesn't.
Let Booney talk.
But that's who's getting the home field advantage at the same time, though.
No, it isn't. Not anymore.
I just don't have a huge interest in seeing guys play together because it's not like basketball. They're not passing each other the ball. You know what I mean? They're hitting. You know what I mean? It's not like a complimentary. Like what would seeing Ohtani and Trout playing together again? So Trout just hits after him. You know what I mean? It doesn't resonate where it's like, oh, LeBron and Curry. That's different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Ohtani strikes out Mike Trout again, like we saw in the World Baseball Classic. Ohtani gets to pitch against Mike Trout again. Something like that. I'm not saying specifically them, but that's the idea behind it.
Right.
I wonder about the 9-inning thing, like having a couple of guys play 9 innings. I like the idea in theory, but would you get people that would opt out of the All-Star game?
Teams would hate it because they want some of these guys to get a break. You need some semblance of rest. They've already got a lot of extra travel, media, so
right. So then is it in the wrong part of the season?
Re-entry rule. Yeah.
Is it in the wrong part of the season?
Part of the season. Talk about the assist and take the shot there. I have been saying for over a decade and a half, start the season with the All-Star game. You have a big celebration of all the stars coming out, and
from the year before statistic.
And the other thing is right now when we're judging, these are the best players for the first half of the season, and there's always players. It penalizes players who had good second halves. Remember, I have as many All-Star game appearances as Kirk Gibson and Tim Salmon combined, and for letting you know, it's 1. But
Kyle Hendricks led the league in ERA, didn't make the All-Star game.
Well, I mean, there was one of the years Roger Clemens won the Cy Young Award, didn't win the All-Star game. Jake Arrieta dominated baseball the second half of 2015. He didn't make that year's All-Star team. And I think on the ballot, they should combine their second half and the second half of the previous year first half. That you see what a full season of theirs would be starting from last year's All-Star game to present. And that way you can sort of see it isn't just someone who's had a really good first 2 months. There was a player named Tyler Green who played for the Philadelphia Phillies in the mid-90s, and he had a really good 2 months at the beginning of 1995 and was named to the All-Star team. And if you looked at his record, he finished like 7-9 with an ERA over 5 and was out of baseball in a couple of years. And he has All-Star on his baseballreference.com page, unlike Kirk Gibson, unlike Tony Phillips.
Brian LaHare for the Cubs in 2012 made the All-Star team.
I was just going to say that.
By the end of the year, by the end of that year, he was out of the league playing in, I believe it was Japan.
You've got to love how
by the end of that season, he didn't even make it through the season.
You've got to love the oddities of All-Star games because, as the wonderful Baseball Reference will inform me, you are right about the random Brewers pitcher that finished the game that ended in a tie. Sully, it was Freddie Garcia. And I
almost said Freddie Peralta. I knew it was a Freddie, but I was like, okay, Freddie Garcia.
Wrong Freddie. But
I would have said
we will pick coming up next who should be the all-star team for each league. And then later on in the show, we'll get to that second half prediction on today's Lockdown MLB Squad. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just budgeting help. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. I mean, Monarch Money really helped illuminate how much money I was spending on takeout. It was way too much, especially DoorDash and Taco Bell. Look, I'm not proud of it, but Monarch Money helped unearth that. We're keeping that in check now and watching that wealth get built. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com and code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. We always appreciate those who make Locked On MLB part of their everyday routine, whether it's Sully with the Locked On MLB Daily Show, whether it's the guys at Locked On MLB Game Night who watch every single game every single night, or it's your favorite team. Locked On Guardians, maybe. Locked On A's, maybe Locked On Cubs, maybe. Locked On Reds, maybe. A different Locked On show that isn't currently on today's squad show. We're on every single day because we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, guys, so we complained about the All-Star voting, but they have given us some finalists, so let's run through this really quickly. On the American League side, for catcher, it's Cal Raleigh, right? Like, it's not going to be Alejandro Kirk over Cal Raleigh. Like, it's got to be Cal Raleigh.
Well, if it is, then I may not watch the game.
If
Cal Raleigh's not starting the All-Star game, I may not watch until he comes in.
Like, if he were going up against the National League catchers, he should beat out Will Smith and Carson Kelly.
Well, definitely Carson Kelly, yes.
Yeah, Will Smith's leading the NL and batting average and on base. So, plus, I just love Will Smith.
Will Smith's the best one, yeah.
Yeah, we got a catcher on pace for like 55 homers, though, man.
The year he is having, man. It's crazy.
Pretty amazing.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
First base in the American League, we got Vlad and we got Paul Goldschmidt.
You mean the guy who was benched today? The guy who said, "Oh, I don't know if he's going to play because we're going to have DJ LeMahieu in the lineup instead of him." Yeah,
fan voting.
It's Vladdy. It's Vladdy.
Who else is really good? Fix we should get into.
I'm with that.
Jonathan Aranda is having a hell of a first half as well.
Yeah,
that's a snub. Yeah, that's a snub.
But he's not a
Is he the Rays? He's got to be the Rays selection, right? Like, I don't think it's anybody else on that team. Yeah. So Cal Raleigh, Vlad, we're pretty much consensus there. Second base, we got Gleyber Torres and we got Jackson Holliday.
Ooh, that's a pretty weak.
Gleyber Torres having a great year. I think
it's got to be Gleyber Torres.
And the Tigers have the best record in the AL. They deserve more people because they have the best record. I'm sorry. When you have the best record, you deserve more representatives if they're good enough.
And I admire the fact that he bet on himself too, right? Like, I mean, he took the deal that it's like, I think I'm gonna be able to make more money next season. I'm gonna just go kill it, and he's having a good year. I'm with you.
Yeah, and by the way, the Yankees are looking for a middle infielder right now.
Gotta love
I'm
that.
not saying. I'm just saying.
Gleyber Torres.
Yeah,
Gleyber.
Gleyber Torres for sure. All right, so now we come to third base, and we come to our first position, of which one of our esteemed squad hosts has a bit of a. I don't think it's a hard conversation
Devers.
between Jose
Devers.
Ramirez
or Alex Rafael Devers.
We're not talking about DH.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The guy who actually wants to play third base, the guy who actually wanted to stay with this team, he wanted a no trade clause so they wouldn't trade him away. That guy deserves it.
Yes. The guy who's been there since they were one swing away from winning the World Series.
Is he the best third baseman in baseball?
Yes.
100%.
I think so.
No brainer.
Right now, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mike Schmidt
He's
was
a future
better.
Hall of Famer.
Well, I'm not
Yeah.
saying ever.
Mike
Brooks
Schmidt
Robinson's
wasn't
got
in
a pretty
the
good
AL.
argument there, but no, I'm talking about right now.
No,
Yeah, it's definitely Jose.
Ramirez is, I think, by far the best in the AL and probably the best overall.
He will hit
Yes.
a ball tomorrow at Wrigley Field that lands on Waveland Avenue. Carry on.
I like that. I like
As
that.
a righty versus a lefty.
Ugh.
It's gonna be
I hope so.
interesting to see. I kind
Okay,
of like this one because
Get
we've got
Booney on
star
this one.
power. We got star power versus a dude that's just had a heck of a first half. And the fact that this is the one thing that really kind of throws into the face of like fan voting, like the fans kind of got this one right, that Jacob Wilson should be a finalist for the shortstop position.
Yeah.
But he's going against Bobby Witt Jr. Like, I don't
He's
know,
having a
man.
better year.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so tough. But Wilson has played really well.
Yeah.
He has, but it's first half, second half last year plus first half this
Yeah, I
year.
think-
It's a no brainer. It's Bobby Witt, but Jacob Wilson certainly deserves to be an all-star.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things when it's close like that, you go with the totality, the incumbent sort of situation, and Witt is I still like a really important face of the league. But maybe if it's the same thing next year, it could be a different conversation.
Booney,
I got
we need it.
Wilson.
We got an A's here. Let's talk about the A's for God's
But
sake.
you got to remember,
Booney.
Wilson at one point was hitting about 375.
No, I'm a huge
Right.
fan.
Mhm.
He's been in a little bit of a slump lately, like 3 for his last 26. Had 2 hits tonight and a win, but he's been in a little bit of a slump. But defensively, he's been unbelievable as well. And just the presence he brings. He has some pop, too. He has about 10, 11 bombs, I believe. I believe he's beating Witt in almost every single category.
No, I
How
know.
don't you go Wilson?
Strikeout rate's like 2% for Jacob
Something like
Wilson.
that,
He just does not strike out.
Same with his walk rate.
Yeah.
That's true
I
too.
do
He doesn't
think-
he likes to hit the ball.
He's so good though.
This does bring up a problem because there's such obvious ballot stuffing in Sacramento right now. Just all the fans are just shoving.
Yep.
What do you mean, like the stadium is the ballot? Like, I mean, oh man. But yeah, that is a tough one. But you're right. It's about the first half, and Jacob Wilson has had a better first half. So I think I'm with you. I'll take Jacob Wilson.
I'm going Witt. I have to go Witt because of I put Jacob Wilson on the All-Star team, no doubt about it. And look, if he's starting, I'm not going to bring a picket sign and start to protest, But I think Bobby Witt Jr., But again, this is where another big problem is. You've these big market teams. You got Kansas City. You got Sacramento. I mean, how can a Dodger or Yankees sort of sneak in this? And it's really, it's what's wrong with the game and why we need a salary cap.
Bobby Witt's the third best shortstop in the American League. He's not even the second. Jerry Pena's having a better year than him.
Who just went on the IL, so he's
on the
I
IL.
know, but
He's on the IL and
Today.
second half, first half, boom.
Second half, first half.
Didn't they used to have 2 All-Star games, Sully? Didn't we used to have 2?
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did, and it made really, really confusing when I do the in memoriam video and I list how many All-Star teams someone's been on. I go like, how did that guy make 9 All-Star teams? He played 8 years, and then it's like, oh,
I'm all for him to confuse Sully more.
Love
Yeah,
that.
keep that in mind when people talk about the tradition you can't change in the All-Star game. At one point, they're like,
Yes.
sure, we'll have another one.
All right,
I'm for a second All-Star game, to be honest.
Let's go around here.
I'm for a
Wilson
weekly one.
Wilson or Witt? Sully's going Witt. Justin?
Witt.
I got to go Witt. It's an All-Star game. I love Jacob Wilson, but it's star. Sorry.
And Wilson, no brainer. He's a bigger star than Witt.
I'd probably lean Witt.
Got Witt. I think I got to go Wilson on this one just for the fun thing. Because I love what Jacob Wilson has done, but I also think Jacob Wilson could easily enter that category of does he have all-star games and what did his career end up being like? That's still on the table there, unfortunately. Yeah. All right, DH. We got Ryan O'Hearn and Ben Rice.
Wow,
I think it should have been Rafael Devers, but he's in the National League now.
I'm not
answering. As we all predicted at the beginning of the year, it's going to be between Ryan O'Hearn and Ben Rice.
Isn't Ben Rice hitting like 235 or something?
Yeah,
like 111 Ks.
Yeah, I'm not. I like to plead the fifth on that one, Jeff.
The loser of Jacob Wilson and Bobby Witt should be the DH.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
now we're talking.
That's the move.
I'm in.
I'm in on that.
I know.
This is definitely a good category for they're going to be an all-star, and then that's going to be like the bar trivia for their career between O'Hearn and Rice. Huh?
Wow, that's weak.
Man, and O'Hearn probably isn't going to be. O'Hearn's probably going to be on a different team after the trade deadline is over. So probably go with O'Hearn, I guess, just by default. He's got more votes. All right,
cool, good for him.
Outfield.
Wow. You got Judge already.
Interesting. So Judge is in. That's right. That's it was throwing me off just looking at the finalist list. Forgot Judge is in no matter what. He skips
two spots.
He skips this thing. So 2 spots, 4 guys. Riley Green, Javier Baez, Mike Trout, and Steve Kwan.
Wow. Buxton's not on it, huh?
And Buxton belongs on it big time.
The American League is sure a little different than it used to be.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, the NL has gone far. I'm going
brutal.
I'm going Riley Green because he's on the best team, and I know Javi Baez has had a great bounce back year. I'm going Kwan. I know I said before like star power, but I'm sorry, Stephen Kwan's having a better year than Mike Trout, and the Guardians don't deserve 2 All-Stars. Let me be clear about that, but Stephen Kwan's having the second best year behind Riley Green of this group.
Yes, shoot. I would go Riley Green and Kwan. Yeah, damn.
I feel like Stephen Kwan is like one of the most forgotten and underrated players in the entire league. Like if he hits 300, does anyone outside of Cleveland hear it? You know, like does a tree fall in the woods and no one's around to see it? Does anybody hear it or whatever the thing is? Yeah.
Well, next year when he's traded to somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably a little bit of a softer take, but I might just say Trout to make it look a little better. Make it a little more interesting. You know, someone might just say, "Oh, Trout's on the American League." I mean, if we got Riley Green, Ryan O'Hearn, and Kwan, I mean,
Riley Green's a star, man. Come on, Riley Green is good. He's very good.
Yeah, I know. Can he hit left-handed pitching? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
I think we lost.
Of this group, I definitely put Kwan in there. I definitely put Kwan in there. I'm going to go Green just because it seems like every single time the Tigers win a game, he's somehow in the middle of one of the rallies.
No, you're right. You're right.
For star power, obviously Trout, and I mean, I'm a huge Mike Trout fan, and I love to see him play. I would love to see him in the postseason. But this is. Please, I mean, he's not an all-star this year.
Green's a lock for sure.
Yeah, Green. Man, I kind of want to go Javi Baez just from what he's been doing this year. I mean, he hit a tank against the Reds a couple of weeks ago. He's looking much better than he ever has.
So it's personal. It's personal. like Jaws.
I can't go for next Cub. I can't.
Like Jaws: The Revenge. This time it's personal.
Exactly. So all right, so let's go through that American League. We'll finish off the National League in the next segment, but American League, we've got Cal Raleigh, Vlad Guerrero Jr., we've got Gleyber Torres, Jose Ramirez, think we're going Bobby Witt Jr. on shortstop. Booney will abstain from that vote. Designated hitter, we'll go with Jacob Wilson.
Yes.
It should be Ryan O'Hearn or Ben Rice. And then the other two outfield spots, we're going to go Riley Green and Steve Kwan. All right, National League coming up next, and we'll give you our early or halfway point predictions. If you're just like us and you're all about baseball here on the Locked On MLB Squad Show, you got to take your baseball knowledge on over to FanDuel because it's the best way to make every game that much more exciting. And if you're a new user to FanDuel, you can place a $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. You won't find odds like that even on Dinger Tuesday. Dinger Tuesday got some pumped up odds for the long ball. Go check those out today. But I'm looking at some futures. I'm looking at league winners right now. FanDuel has the favorites to be repeats, Dodgers and Yankees. Dodgers at plus 115 to win the National League, and the Yankees at plus 250 to win the American League. Tigers right on the Yankees' heels, though, plus 280. All about Tarek Skubal there. Phillies, second best odds in the National League at 5-1. That's all over at FanDuel. Go check it out today, FanDuel.com. They are the official sports book of Locked On. If you can't watch us on YouTube, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcast app. Your favorite Locked On MLB show is on your favorite podcast app. Literally all of them out there. Go check us out today. All right, so we did the American League. Now let's do the National League. Sam, is Carson Kelly going to make sure that there is not an all Dodgers starting lineup here?
No. Will Smith will win that vote.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Carson Kelly's had a heck of a first half.
He had a tremendous first month and a half ish, and then since then it's come down quick. But yeah, definitely deserves to be in the conversation for sure, but not Will Smith.
Brian Lahair first too.
Yeah, right.
So we got Will Smith at catcher. Honestly, all right, which position? Let's go down and look at this, because literally there's a finalist from the Dodgers and then there's somebody else at every single position. And of course, outfield, you got to pick 3 guys, and there's only 2 Dodgers finalists. So there will be a non-Dodgers starter in the outfield. But there's no guarantee that the entire starting lineup won't be made up of Dodgers. Is there any position that the Dodgers are at risk of losing?
Who's the second baseman finalist? Is Edman and who?
Edman.
It should be
second base is Edman and Marte. Yeah. It needs to be Marte. Yeah. Shortstop too. I think Lindor is going to be.
Nico's the best second baseman.
Well,
I think Pete Alonso. I would put Alonso. Yeah.
I think Pete Alonso's having a better year than Freddie Freeman. I think so, and he's got New York behind him, so he's got a good shot.
Yeah. I think Alonso's in, yeah.
I mean, Freeman got off to a really good start, but so did Alonso, and I just feel like he's like when Soto was really struggling early, Alonso was carrying that team.
Can I just say there is part of me that would love the All-Star team to be questionable AL All-Stars versus the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And Kyle Tucker.
That could be your second All-Star game. You could have the World Series champions versus the All-Stars of the other league. There's your second All-Star game.
And the Dodgers can acquire Kyle Tucker by the All-Star game anyway, just to make it so they get the final All-Star pick in there. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Trade everybody over. I think it's phenomenal that Ronald Acuna made a finalist in here, even though he's only played has he played a full month yet?
No.
He's played a full month. He has played a full month.
He came back in May. You're right. So he played all of June. Yeah.
And look, it's been. He's played really well since he's came off of injury, but man, it's crazy to see that he's made this.
Pete Crow Armstrong has to be an All-Star.
I think the Cubs. I think. I mean, obviously, hosted the Cubs show, but I think the Cubs deserve 2. I think Pete and Kyle Tucker should start the All-Star game. I mean, Tucker's been the steady presence, but without Pete, I mean, with his defense and center, his base stealing, he's been he's off a little bit of a slump here lately, but he absolutely should be the starting center fielder. Absolutely. I think 100%.
You can make an argument. I know he's not a finalist. Nico Horner's may be the best second baseman in all National League.
Yeah, I don't think.
True too,
I think he has a case to be there for sure. For sure.
Yeah, Marte deserves to be in.
Marte's better.
Machado deserves to be in.
And I think Soto when you look at, he's on a tear right now, and again, add the second half he had with the Yankees last year.
Yeah, that'd be a
to
great
that.
three.
I mean,
Soto,
I mean,
PCA, Tucker. That would be my outfield.
yeah, that's your outfield right there.
Yeah, that's a fun outfield.
But you're making up your own criteria there, Sully.
Yeah, no kidding. So do the people who are who voted for Ronald Acuna Jr. as a finalist. So I'm sorry, did I have to get a papal decree? Yeah, I'm creating my own criteria. My criteria is basically.
And the other one's Teoscar, right? Is the other finalist?
Who's slumping right now?
Andy
Yeah.
Pages. Andy Pages. And
neither.
For God's sakes, yeah, I'm making up my own criteria. As we just finished saying, either Ryan O'Hearn or Ben Rice are going to be starting in the damn All-Star game. I would hate it if my own criteria got in the way of such a pristine.
But Sully, just to focus you, you said you need a papal decree. That's only if a White Sox player is a finalist.
That's true.
Yeah,
which we're a few years away from that, probably.
Yeah.
One of their pitchers. One of their pitchers, probably. White Sox.
So let's see. All right, catcher we got Will Smith. First base we got Pete Alonso. Second base we got Ketel Marte. Third base we're taking Machado over Muncy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're doing a platoon thing for the All-Star game. So, yeah, it's got to be Machado over Muncy. Shortstop, we're taking Lindor over Betts. Outfield, we're going to take PCA. We're going to take Kyle Tucker, and we're going to take Juan Soto.
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I like Acuna, but yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, Acuna. How could it be Acuna? He might get in, but how could Acuna make it? He's
probably had the best month. If you compared months, if you just compared a month, he's probably had as good a month as anyone on this list. Yeah,
James Wood is a huge. I complain a lot, but if Ryan Clara were on here with us on the squad show, he'd be yelling louder than me.
James Wood's a star. It's an all-star game. You need star power.
And but you know, and Ronald Acuna has played one more month than the actor James Woods. So let's just let's pump the brakes a little bit here.
He's a star. I want stars.
Yes, he's a star. But you know who's also a star? James Woods, 2-time Oscar nominee.
But the three dudes
that have a star in the Walk of Fame.
But the three dudes that we have are all stars.
I do.
You know, I think Pete's a blossoming star. Tucker and Soto. You know what I mean? It's not like we have Ryan O'Hearn in the outfield.
Oh, PCA should be there just based on his defense alone. So yeah, absolutely.
I think he should be in there based on a badass nickname. And to rub it, to have PCA and Javier Baez there, just so the Mets can go, God damn, we totally lost that trade.
He's the only player on the list that had a mom who played in a great baseball movie too.
That's, you know what? Talk about creating your own criteria. Booney let that slide. It's a great movie. But you know, like, I get crap for saying let's take the whole season into account, and Justin Lott is talking about a movie directed by Laverne.
Well, Alex Bregman's in there, and his dad's a congressman. I don't care about that.
Alex Bregman's in a full body cast right now.
and the Red Sox didn't even need him on Monday night. All right, that's going to do it. I think I teased the fact that we were going to talk about who's going to win the World Series here. I think we're going to talk about that in the
Dodgers
next on MLB Squad show.
Dodgers.
I think we just
an all-star change. One all-star change.
No, let's do it.
Another one.
Okay. I know the NBA. I know the NBA's All-Star game is absolute garbage, but I think
Elam
they did
ending
it right.
at the end of the baseball game. Yeah.
No. 1/3 fan vote, 1/3 media vote, 1/3 player vote.
Yeah.
Take that.
That's how they pick a pope. You know, that should.
And I think that's where we got to call it.
Position in the AL.
We're pulling the tarp on this one. Thanks to everybody for checking out this edition of Locked On MLB Squad. We'll see you guys next week.